Alrighty, I am still on my plastic kick, and I am going to be making a little container out of these two containers. One top, I believe, a little Modge Podge, some tissue paper, and this lovely little piece of fabric. Isn't this pretty? Anyway, just keep watching and we'll see what I come up with. First step is the fun part. I get to just tear up tissue paper. And just tear it this way and that way. Because I'm going to just kind of glue it down. And I just want kind of irregular tissue paper shapes. Okay, I'm going to pull out my favorite, my Fabric Modge Podge, and I'm going to start applying the tissue paper. I'm going to try to get up here. Remember, this dries completely clearly. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I probably need to check on it. Anyway, all right. So the first thing I want to be sure I do is get it up kind of around the edges. There we go. There we go. And it's okay if we get a few wrinkles. That's part of the beauty of tissue paper. You know, kind of neat little wrinkles and crinkles all over the place. And we'll do overlapping because overlapping is kind of nice too. It just gives it a nice look. There we go. Kind of like clouds a little bit. So the nice thing about this is there's no wrong way to do it. And if you miss a spot, you just go right on over that little spot. And then you can come right back. There we go. And miss a spot, you could take another little piece and cover it up. Get a little Fabric Modge Podge on that little baby. And go at it again. And so basically, you just keep this up all around this. This was a container of graham crackers from Trader Joe's. They have good graham crackers. And it happens to be a weakness of mine. And so I overindulged. I ate up all my son's graham crackers, and then, of course, I had to go and buy more to make up for that. So I definitely had to find a way to use this container. Okay, as you can see, it's beginning to get a nice little, I don't know, kind of a wavy look. And you can just cover it and make it as kind of as thick as you feel you want. You have to be kind of careful that you don't tear it though. And here might be some of the clouds. I might want the cloudy look I might want to put there. From time to time, I might have to kind of wet my brush just a bit so it doesn't get too, yeah, here we go. It's nice and solid this way. And okay, I'm going to keep on And when I come back, I will have covered the whole container, and we'll go from there. So while that is drying, we're going to take our pretty fabric. I guess this would be something people would use for formal gowns or whatever. But sometimes if you're at the fabric store and you see, I guess, end pieces or whatever, or there's a sale, this, I couldn't help myself. I saw it and I thought, ooh, got to have it. I bet I could do something pretty with that. So what I'm going to do is cut, yeah, let's just see if we can cut right in here. I hope you can see. And I'm going to have to get my good scissors. I don't know why I started with these clunker scissors. But anyway, I'm going to cut a strip out. And I'm being very careful, you know, not to get too careless as I cut. And we want to cut all this out. And then I'm going to cut fairly close around the flowers with my good scissors, may I add, just to get a nice strip. So while our container is drying, I'm just going to kind of fussy cut a little bit closely around the flowers. Okay, but first let me get my good scissors. Sorry, got it right. Okay, as you can see, we've got it all covered. The whole thing is nice and covered. And this dries with a nice kind of a shiny finish, which I really like. And not only that, once it's dry, and you can see the inside, once it's dry, I can use watercolor. I can use a light watercolor to add a little color to it. Now, I could have added a little bit of color to the Modge Podge as I went about covering it. I chose not to do it that way, but maybe I'll do it that way some other time. So let's see what we can do. Get a little bluiness in here, and then just kind of very lightly go over it. And it is a light color, so you're not going to get, even though it looks kind of dark when it first goes on, it's not going to be very dark. And you will get some nice little puddlies. I kind of like the puddlies, like that little puddly right there. And I will just kind of go here and there around, and eventually I'll add other colors in just to give it some personality, not to drop the paintbrush though. Okay, see what we can do here. And this just takes a few minutes to do, because like I said, you don't want, you don't want to belabor it. And it will dry, and when it dries, it'll still hold. As you can see, it's drying now, and you get a really just kind of a light, sweet blue. Go over it a little bit, but you don't want to go over it too much, because after all, you are working with glue. Okay, so we've got our blue in there, and let me see, what other color? Maybe a little light green, or I don't know, maybe even a dark green. Let's see what kind of green we get. There's a nice green. And it is to be a watery, very light, kind of a light watery look is what we're going for. And we just kind of want the colors to just kind of melt into one another, which they're doing quite nicely. And I need to refresh might need to get a little bit, let's see, a little darker. Huh, there we go. That might be a little better green. And we get a few little puddles as it runs into the blue. Yeah, that's kind of nice. You can't keep going over it too much though, because you don't want to loosen. You don't want to loosen up your glue. So just make it a nice light. There we go. Because we are going to put our flowers on here. And we want them to have kind of a nice background. Again, just kind of a flowy background, because the flowers are the main event. And this just kind of will bring out the color of the flowers. Okay. All right. That's pretty much it. We're going to let that dry. And so you get kind of a nice little light watery feel. And once it dries, we'll come back and we'll apply our flowers and see what we can't do about our top. Okie dokie. Okay, at this point, we're ready to apply our flowers, our embellishment to our little project. Sometimes it's hard to see what's the right side of this, but I've had to cut it a little bit because I want to make room for a butterfly here and there on each side. And when it comes to actually gluing these down, I'm not having to be too extra. I don't know, not to put an extra amount of glue on, and I'll show you why in a little bit, because like I showed you in the beginning, we're using 2 of these boxes, and one will fit inside the other in order to make the little container kind of wipeable if that's needed, and to protect this fabric so it does not all over the place. So as we glue these down, you'll see what I mean. Oh, let me move the butterfly. Didn't mean to get him in there. Alrighty. So I'm going to flip this over, and I think something like this. Okay, might be good. And we'll just kind of tap it down a little bit. And we got glue on each of our flowers. And for this, I'm using the art glitter glue. And we're going to just kind of put a little art glitter glue on his wings and place him. Now, there we go. Okay, that's one side. And actually, if you wanted that to be all you put on, that could be it. So if we make this kind of, if I put it all around, that gives it a whole nother look. So, well, let's see. Yeah, okay, maybe we'll do this. That gives us a little more room for our butterflies. And we will simply trim this a bit so we can loosen it up. There we go. That's pretty. Okay. Alrighty. Originally, I had thought I would put the flowers all the way around, but I don't really think it needs that once the butterflies are added. So, we shall see what we shall see. The art glitter glue is excellent for, you know, attaching paper to paper, or, I don't know, just about anything. And, okay, we'll arrange this and then we'll see what kind of butterfly we can find for this space. I think that makes it more interesting than, rather than just have continuous. Come on, come on. There we go. All right. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can find a butterfly that has a little blue. Oh, I think that you might be perfect for this place. So we'll just get you all glued up. Here we go. All right. And we've got one here. Let's see what or who, which butterfly we can find for here. Well, the nice thing about it is I think he's a perfect fit. He, she, butterfly, whatever. Alrighty. Now, if I have time, I might make a little booklet. I think something like this would be nice to go maybe in the baby's room, or I don't know, wherever. I might cut out or separate a few flowers just to kind of pull everything together. I have always loved this kind of fabric. You know, they do this beautiful work on these fabrics. Hold on, let me trim this apart and we'll see if we can't find a way to introduce this without it being too much of a, I don't know. Maybe, okay, maybe that. And maybe we can cut the big old flower for the bottom. Let's just see how that works. Okay, this way. There we go. That way. And maybe this one for here. Or maybe that one. Okay, all right, I think that'll do. Whoop, don't want my glue to dry out. We do not want this stuff to dry out and refuse to cooperate, because as long as it's cooperating, the world is good. But when that stuff gets stuck, The world is not good. Okay, and I'm going to trim this. We don't want this little piece of netting to show above the butterfly. There we go. Okay. Now, let's see if we can get just... how about right there? Okay, that should do it. And then we'll look around the whole thing. See how the whole thing is looking. And when that dries, we'll come back and see what we can't do about the top. There we go. I think that is perfect. And we probably need one little butterfly over here. Let's say we don't want this side to be void of butterflies. One there, one here, one here. And let's see if we can find a E9C one here. Here's another E9C1. E9C1. How about that? Perfect. All right. Okay, I'm going to set these aside and let this dry. And then I will show you how we're going to use the second one. But so far, so good. All right, it's dry. And now I wanted you to know that the butterflies I'm using are coming from the Tim Holtz Transparent Wings packet. And I really, really like these because they are very, very versatile. Now, as I told you, we were going to use 2 of these. And the use for this is the outside box. And basically what I'm going to do is just place the one we've decorated inside the outside box, push it down as far as I can, now if you want you could put some, I don't know, cute little rocks or something in the bottom, but if we do it this way, I'll put a ribbon or something between here. But you have a stronger little container. You've used 2 plastic boxes, and it's just a nice way to give 2 containers a second life. I think I'm going to put a ribbon between here. Maybe a ribbon, maybe not. But I just keep kind of just pushing it down. And it's tight enough that it will stay by itself. So you don't have to worry about that. So that's pretty much our project. Might look a little odd to some, look okay to others, but it's a good way, like I said, to use 2 boxes. And let me see, maybe put a couple of butterflies at the bottom. This would be nice for cotton balls, or I don't know, whatever you want to use it for. And if you put it by the light, as you can see, it's kind of nice because the light kind of comes through it with the butterflies. And I'll make a way to remove the top so it's not so hard when I come right back. All right, I'm back with our little box, our little 2-story box. I'm getting ready to finish it up. And one of the things I'm going to do to finish it up is just to put ribbon right in this space between the 2 boxes or the 2 plastic cartons. And I'm just going to use a touch glue here. And I'm going to try to make sure I join it right in the corner. So start there and try to make this as neat as we can. So here we go. And sometimes you need a little help to tuck it in there. So something kind of sharp for that. And then I'm going to continue around with a little bit of glue to encourage it to stick. Now this is probably going to be my last video. Oops, for a little while. I'm going to be going into the homeschooling, and that won't give me much time for videos. So I'll try to get maybe 2 a month in, and I'll do an Instagram reel or something when I have them up. So to my family and folks who've been kind enough to watch from time to time, that's my new schedule, and we'll see how it goes. I think this particular little project, I went and made some little extras to kind of go with it, and I'll show you those at the end. But okay, so that gives it a nice little touch. That dries. Okay, there we go. So that gives it a nice little touch. And like I said, the nice thing about this is it's so kind of translucent, which gives it, I don't know, the inside, from the inside, it's pretty, and from the outside, it's pretty. All right, so I'll put that to the side, and I'm going to show you what I've done. Now, where the top is concerned, I'm going to put 2 holes in the top with my awl, whatever you call the thing, and then I'm going to put some ribbon through it, just so you can, you know, to remove the top. Just kind of, I think that might make it easier to remove, because sometimes when you put these tops on, they can be, you know, a little hard. You have to go, you know, and so anyway, I usually do this. I use my Sudoku book to make holes, because I wasn't very good at Sudoku, and I enjoyed it for a while, and then they got the super hard ones, and I said, well, I'll just use you to punch holes. That's what I'll do. At any rate, okay, here we go. I guess, let me see. Okay, let's go here and all the way through. Owl makes nice holes. You just have to be careful with plastic, because you don't want to crack it. And then we'll have another one right about here. And we'll kind of twisty. Okay. So we just want enough. We want just enough so we can get our finger through this to be able to pull it up. So put this here, and let's see. Might want to do a knot. We shall see. Come. Alrighty. Okay, let's turn it around. There we go. All right, that's enough to just get your finger in there and get it pulled up if you want. And I probably, let me see if I can get a knot in this side. Probably should have given myself a little more, but we shall see. It'll work out all right. Things usually do. This will be our first knot. We just don't want it to come out of the holes when we pull it, okay? Knot number 1. Okay, pick it up. And we'll put knot number 2. And then what I'm going to do is go over this with some Fabric Modge Podge. And well, that should kind of, now I'm going to watch and see if I can slide this knot up. So then I can cut off what we don't need. Yeah, that's about enough. I think that'll work quite well. There we go. Yeah, okay. Now we'll trim this. And we'll trim this. Okay, so that's our little pull. Okay. And I'm going to cover this with Fabric Modge Podge to kind of seal it down. And that'll be our top. Now, when I apply the Fabric Modge Podge, what it will do is it will make it all a little, I don't know, kind of translucent, or it won't be quite as clear, but that's okay. Oh, I'm trying to find my brush, Okay, this brush might just have to do because I want to get this done. Okay, all right, there we go. Don't want it on this part though. And it will kind of maybe help some of the netting to go away, or to maybe disappear into the plastic so it won't be so obvious. And it'll give it a nice, I like the shine. Some people don't like the shine, but I like the shine. Okay. And the nice thing about this is it does dry completely clear. Oops. Takes a little while to dry though. So it'll be a little late getting this video up, but oh well. Okay, let's get behind here. There we go. Alrighty. Now let me try to make my brush strokes look kind of nice, because the brush strokes will kind of stay. There we go. Alrighty. Alrighty. That's our top. Get that in there. And I'm going to clean this off. And that is our top. Now, like I said, I did do a couple other little things to go along with this project. And while that dries, I'll just show them to you and go from there. Oops. All right. So for this project, in order to try it out, and yes, I do have hands full of Fabric Modge Podge. In order to try out and see whether this would actually work, I took a strip of plastic and I used that and I made a little bookmark just to see if the whole process would work. And I was pleased with the little bookmark, and I think it would work quite well, and it's attractive, and it kind of pulls together with the little container. So then I thought, well, got that. Maybe I could also do a little note holder in which I could put, now this is a little matchbox design that has a few note papers in it. They're easy to make. They're easy to find all over YouTube. Somebody's making these. So if I apply this to this, attach it to that, someone would have a nice set, especially if, I don't know, if I guess there's a baby on the way or something. So you've got something to put your cotton balls or something in, and you've got a nice bookmark for when you're reading to your little new one, and maybe a little note for babysitter who comes or whatever, something you might want them to know. So anyway, after this dries, I'll take a final shot of the entire little collection of goodies, and I'll be back.